Welcome back, veteran political commentator. Lessons of the new book, or rather I should say, author of the new book, Lessons My Father Taught Me, The Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan, obviously the son of the former president, Michael Reagan. Mike, it's always a pleasure to get a chance to talk to you, my friend. Let's go ahead and begin in order, if we can. First of all, Paul Ryan, saying that Donald Trump's criticism of the Hispanic American judge in question here is a textbook definition of a racist comment, and said he regrets the remark. What's your take on that when Ryan comes out and makes that sort of a statement at such a critical juncture?
Ryan's trying to protect the Republican Party on the downside of the ticket, the House side of the ticket. And you can see that just absolutely eroding with the statement put out by Donald Trump. Therefore, Paul Ryan has to say something to say, listen, this is not where the Republican Party wants to stand. We don't want to stand in that same square that Donald Trump is putting us in. Please vote for your congressman, vote to keep us in charge in the House of Representatives. That's what that was all about.
But Michael, let's get to the point then from what a lot of Republicans are saying to that. They agree and they see that, but they would say you must back Donald Trump. He is the Republican candidate. To do anything less would put Hillary Clinton in office, and that would be an absolute disaster for America.
There's a lot of people who think that Donald Trump would be an absolute disaster for the world, not just America. I didn't vote for Donald Trump today, and my father wouldn't have voted for Donald Trump today, because as a Reagan, I'm not going to support somebody who's so demeaning. I mean, in my book, I talk about the lessons my father, taught me, and one of those is you don't speak down to people. You don't be demeaning to people. You need to find a way to work together, no matter what the argument might be. Why was my father able to work with the Tip O'Neills of the world? He was able to do that because he found the common ground to do that. He didn't call Tip O'Neill names. He invited him to the White House for dinner.
In light of what has been said now in the last 24 to 48 hours, what you just said, you did not vote for Donald Trump today in the California primary. Are you insulted when people compare your father to Donald Trump?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely insulted by people who compare my father to Donald Trump. His grandchildren are in fact insulted that they would compare Donald Trump to their grandfather. The whole Reagan family is insulted by it. Donald Trump is no Ronald Reagan. Hey, I knew Ronald Reagan. He was a friend of mine. And you're no Donald Trump or no Ronald Reagan. But I'll tell you something else, and I've said this many times. If my father were anything like Donald Trump, Nancy never would have married him, let alone vote for him.
1-877-NEWSMAX if you'd like to join us. Before we go to the phones, let me get this in here because Donald Trump did make a statement today. He did not go to social media, though. He issued a basic press statement on this. And in the statement, everybody can read it at newsmax.com. It is unfortunate that my comments have been misconstrued as a categorical attack against people of Mexican heritage. I am friends with and employ thousands of people of Mexican and Hispanic descent. The American justice system relies on fair and impartial judges. All judges should be held to that standard. Michael, your reaction, are you buying it?
I just got out of court. I was in court for 3 years with somebody suing me because my last name was Reagan. Should I have gone out and railed against the judge because I disagreed with some of his rulings, if you will, in that case? Are you telling me now if I want to go out and rail against the judge because I believe he's unfairly coming out against me, that judge should now step down? Should that happen in every case across America where you're not happy with what the judge is saying or doing? Should you rail against it, and will you be able to get the judge to recuse himself or herself because of that? I think that's the road you're going down. If you want to go down that road, I don't want to be there with you.
We have a couple of other roads to go down, though, in the few minutes that we have left. First of all, at 1-877-NEWSMAX, Barbara from Hearst, Texas, joins us on the hard line. Barbara, what's your take on what is being said today, and do you buy Donald Trump's apology today? Oh, and I should say, but let me correct myself. Let me correct myself. Hang on, Barbara. Barbara, stop. I want to just correct myself first. It was not an apology that he issued today. He issued basically a clarification. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, that's all he needed to do is offer a clarification. I mean, people misconstrued what he says a lot, but I'm sick to death of hearing about it. It's left out there because the media will not leave it alone. If y'all put as much time in what Hillary and her husband did with their thing, funded by taxpayers' money, it would be just. But it's very biased when it comes to Trump.
All right, Barbara, we appreciate your comments.
jump in
Michael,
on
let me
this.
ask you then, because there is still the blame out there that it is the media that is driving this, and Donald Trump has even, according to Bloomberg News, told some of his supporters that they should now call the media racist and go after the media in this case.
It's really interesting listening to Trump supporters. The fact is, Hillary's not going out and giving press conferences and giving speeches on her emails. She's not going out and giving speeches on Benghazi, which would cause the press to, in fact, ask questions. It is Donald Trump who opened up this can of worms. Remember, he in San Diego is the one who attacked the judge. Upon that attack, the judge put out the documents. And now we're talking about, and it's Donald Trump who, in fact, is letting the media talk about it because he won't shut up because it's about him.
1-877 Newsmax. Laura from New Mexico is here. Laura, you believe that the judge in this case should recuse himself. Why?
I believe that he's been sincere on everything, and I thank God for the media, for everything. And
Well, we thank you for that. Those of
think
us who've
that
made it
they
our
judge-
career, we thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. There's good and bad in everything. That's why we have the Democrats and Republicans, and we're good.
But let me
I
ask you
just
this:
voted for
why
Donald
should the
Trump
judge
today
Why should the judge recuse himself, though, Laura?
because he is involved with La Raza, not because he's Mexican, because he's involved with a racial group, and he should not be judging Donald Trump right now. It's just a matter of recusing, get another judge. It's simple. It's part of our democracy.
All right,
Part of
that
our
is indeed a point that many people have brought up. We should point out as well, thank you for your call, Laura, that the La Raza group that he is involved in is not the national group. It is a local group, and there have been no proven ties at this point to the national group. Michael, before I let you go very briefly, I want to ask you about this. And this comes down to Trump University that is driving the conversation here today. Donald Trump claims that most of the students gave it an A rating. That is misleading, according to PolitiFact and others who say that is simply not true. He also claims that the class action law firm behind them is a big donor to Hillary Clinton. That is not true. They were not donations. The law firm that's involved did pay the Clintons $675,000 since 2009, but it was paid for speeches in all this. But does this not lead us to the point that there's so much going on here, Michael, that we got to stop this sooner or later somehow because there are issues to be discussed, and this is hurting the Republican Party in the eyes of many people.
It is. It's hurting the Republican Party in the eyes of the Republican Party. I mean, right now there's people talking about what are we going to do to rebuild the party after Trump gets trumped by Hillary next November. And that's what a lot of us are in fact thinking about. You know, Donald Trump has to convince me I should vote for him. But I feel a vote for him would put me into a racial corner and a racist corner, and I don't want to be there.
Do you think, in your opinion, I've only got about 30, 40 seconds left here, that Republicans who have backed Donald Trump at this point, what has been said here in the last 24, 48 hours, that is a reason to back away from him and not vote for him? And that's talking to everybody, lawmakers and citizens alike?
It is an absolute reason to walk away from him at this point in time. Only he can make people walk it back, not us. He's got to make people walk it back. And if he's not willing to come to the table and apologize and see where he's done wrong, then Donald Trump will go on to the ash heap of history.
Terse words from a gentleman who, as he said earlier in the interview, knew Ronald Reagan very well. Matter of fact, was pretty good friends with him in a lot of ways as well. Michael Reagan, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll speak with you soon. Stay tuned. We're going to get to more phone calls later in the show. But now a programming note. As of June 1st, Newsmax TV has been discontinued on Dish and is now unavailable to their subscribers. Newsmax is disappointed by this decision to stop carrying Newsmax TV during a critical election period. It's important to note, Newsmax TV did not charge Dish to carry the network. In fact, we financially benefit Dish and their customers. If you're as disappointed in their decision, let them know. You, friend, family member, encouraged we do to you. Call Dish Network, 1-800-700-4376. Tell them to bring back Newsmax TV.